Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Patch 3.18 is bringing a number of new unique items, and one that is not getting the attention it deserves is the Burden of Truth. This unique crystal belt is going to be dropping from Sirus. We don't yet know whether it's dropping from the regular version of the Sirus encounter that we all know and probably don't love, or whether it's dropping from the Uber Sirus encounter that's being added in this patch. However, the Burden of Truth's power is pretty substantial, and I think that this is going to be the sort of item that is going to give a real boost to certain build types. And most importantly, we're talking about builds that scale both life and energy shield simultaneously. This was a playstyle that was broadly regarded as a rookie player's trap for a long period of time throughout Path of Exile. The ways that players would scale their life pool would either be scale life directly, or you would forego life entirely and use energy shield instead, either relying upon Chevron's wrappings to deal with chaos damage or chaos inoculation on the passive tree. Builds that use Chevron's wrappings tended to reserve about 90% of their life, maybe 99% if they could find a way to do so usefully. And this was the meta for a long period of time when it came to just stacking hit points, stacking raw defense on your character. But then over time, there was a little bit more support added for so-called hybrid characters. Hybrid characters being ones that have meaningful amounts both of life and energy shield. And the Burden of Truth really plays to this playstyle in two different forms. The way the Burden of Truth works is it causes some chaos damage you take to get stuck on your energy shield instead. Normally, if you take 100 points of chaos damage, you're losing 100 life, your energy shield doesn't do anything. The Burden of Truth will take some of the sting out of that. You'll take 67 points through to your life and 33 to your energy shield. So that's meaningfully less dangerous, and it means that your energy shield is there to just take the edge off those hits. But on the flip side, it does the reverse for non-chaos damage, allowing 33% of it to go straight through your energy shield. Historically, this would have been a really big problem because it's very difficult to recover life and energy shield at the same time. You would need to take different actions to do these things. Normally, to recover energy shield, you would need to withdraw from a fight and just let the energy shield replenish over time, whereas your life pool would be filling up slowly but you could burst it with flasks. And so for a long period of time, there was no real support for this. But then along came Timeless Jewels and the Supreme Decadence Keystone. This causes your life flasks to also apply to your energy shield, albeit at a reduced rate. Now it's very important to note that if you're at full life, flasks don't recover life, and therefore Supreme Decadence won't let you replenish energy shield while your life is full. How convenient that the Burden of Truth ensures that when you do take some chaos damage or some non-chaos damage, either way, some of it is being caught on your life and some on your energy shield, which means that you will not be in a situation where your life is full and your energy shield is at zero much of the time. That's what the Burden of Truth is doing to protect you from situations like that. I think that this item is going to be really good. There's a couple of ways I can see to use it. The first one is just flat out stacking both life and energy shield on a character, and then using a typical instant life flask. Or even maybe you'd use a slow life flask. That's up to you. You can experiment with both. But I think one of the ways that I really like with this is reserving half of your life. Now, because you've reserved half your life, you'd feel like you're more vulnerable to chaos damage, but the Burden of Truth comes along and says, well, 33% of chaos damage taken does get snagged on your energy shield. So that means that you're not much more vulnerable to big chaos damage sources than you would have been otherwise. But the real benefit here is that you can use Panicked Life Flasks. Now, Panicked Life Flasks, and a couple of lower tier roles that exist, such as Terrified and Alarmed Life Flasks, all slightly reduce the amount of life that's recovered by a flask, but also cause it to have instant recovery when you're on low life. Well, guess what? What if you're on low life all the time? In that case, you're getting a large chunk of instant life and energy shield recovery, and that is a big deal. That's why I really like the Burden of Truth as an item. I think that the synergy with Panicked Life Flasks, or the lesser roles thereof, is pretty substantial and is going to make it so that characters wearing the Burden of Truth are the epitome of instant self-healing. It'll be very hard to kill while they have life flask charges because they're going to be hard to one-shot, they've got such a large life pool, and they're also going to be hard to whittle down until they're out of flask charges. Obviously, at some point, you might find yourself running out of life flask charges, and then at that point, you're in a bit more trouble, but you've had a whole bunch of time to prepare for that, and so maybe you'll be able to come up with a plan. That's the Burden of Truth. I think that this is a really powerful defensive item. You're going to want to apply defense catalysts to it, and if you do that, you can increase that 72 to maximum energy shield up to 96. So you can Blessed Orb it to 80, and then once you've Blessed Orbed it to 80, you can then get plus 20% from Catalyst. So that's going to be 96 energy shield, which is a lot in a belt slot. And whilst I don't think that this is going to be an absolute god tier unique, it's certainly not going to be a substitute for Mage Blood, it is going to be very, very powerful on the builds that want it. That's all I've got. May your Volobs have interesting results, and of course don't use one on this item.